Kakadosh, Boker Or. Daf Yomi Masechet Batra Daf Kuf Mem Vav Mudal of 146a1 says the Mishnah. Yeah, somebody that's going to be a Sholech Sivlonot Lebet Chamim. Imagine you have a Chatan that he sends. He's a nice guy, right? He knows how to play the game. So what does he do? He sends presents to the house of his in-laws. There's Lichvod Ishto, so he's going to get them something, a present, this and that, right? He's a gentleman. So what happens? Even in Shalach Sham Mea Maneh, even if he sent over there 100 maneh, which means mamash presents of 100 maneh, right? Ve'achal sham sudat chatan, and he ate a little bit, right? So he says va'afilu dinar, even if it was only going to be worth 1 dinar, and then he died or she died, or they want to get divorced. En nigbin, they cannot collect it. Why? Because basically the fact that he ate there and he was happy there, he rejoiced there, he was muchel. So therefore, he gave them, whatever it was, whether it's food, whether it's all these different things that they come and they start buying, and the fact that he was there, right? That's already enough. So this is the question of nowadays, Shabbat Geinam. They go, they're there for, the Shabbat. So here you have it. Yes, it's the Shabbat that the Chatan goes by to the Kala and vice versa, things like that. That's what they call it, right? So, no, Israeli. So he says, Lo achal sham seudat Chatan. What happens right now if he did not eat there? He didn't eat there. Harelu negbin. So then he could collect it. He could collect everything back. Yeah, he could collect all the things back. Shalach sivlonot merubin. Right? If he went and he sent a lot of presents, and he said shiachziru ima levet bala, meaning he gave her the present, but it was basically on condition that it was coming back with him. Meaning it was basically going to be for the kala, but obviously when the kala gets married, it goes with her to his house. So then, yes, it does get collected, even if he ate there. Why? Because at the end of the day, the fact that he said mefurash, that I'm giving it right to you meaning I'm giving it to her, but I know that's coming back to me. So then that's it. That's all. So he's going to collect it, even if he ate there. Sivlonot muatin, but if he only sent small presents, right? Shetishtamesh b'hem bevet avia, that she's going to use there in the house of her father, and nigbin, right? They're not going to be collected, even if he did not eat there. So it all depends basically on merubeh and muat, whether it's going to be a big amount, a large amount, or a small amount. Because obviously, small amount, we could say that he probably was muchel. Big amount, obviously not. Says the Gemara, Amar Rava. Says Rava. Okay. Davka dinar. When we talked about that, if the chatan ate, right, in the sudat, chatan basically in the house of his father-in-law, so you can't collect it, that's davka if he ate a suda, which was worth at least a dinar. Aval pachom dinar, but if he just went there for a tea or a coffee, or whatever it is, and it's going to be less than a dinar, lo, he's not going to be muchel. So says the Gemara, well, obviously, pshita, right, dinar tana. We learned that in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, right, that if he says if he was a dinar, fafilu bedinar. So obviously it has to be a dinar. So he says, no. Mao the tema, I would have thought to say, hu adin da filu pachot mi dinar. Right? The same halacha would apply that even if it's going to be less than a dinar. Right? V'hai diktani, so why do we say dinar? Or chadimita diktani? Because that's the shiur of meaning a regular meal is worth dinar. Meaning when I'm going to come and say nowadays, how much the meal of nowadays, right? That's the concept. Yeah? So he says, Kamash Malan comes to teach you, right? The what? Right? Comes to teach you Rava. No. It has to be dafka minimum of dinar. Okay. Achal tnan shatamai. We learned to the Mishnah only if he ate there. What happens if he drank there? He went, he had a good wine, right? But he only drank there. He didn't actually eat there. So what's the halacha? So hu tnan, right? The Mishnah, when we learned ve'achal sham, shlucho mai. Right? He says, right? Dafka. So if it's going to be, right, basically this, one more time, we had a doubt, what about drinking? So says the Gemara, it said ve'achal sham. So it's mashma that it's davkam achal, not shata. What about shlucho? Shlucho mai. What about his messenger? He sent his messenger to the house of the Chamiv in order to come and to give them presents. And then they gave him to eat. So now the Chatan himself did not actually eat in the house of the Chamiv, right? Of the father-in-law, right? But the Shaliach did. So says the Gemara, Shamtran. Again, the same thing. We learned it in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said, Ve'achal Sham. So it's mashma, right? That basically, that he was the one that ate. So she get lo mai. What happens if he sent him the food to him? He sent him on takeout, right? He sent it to him, not that he came, right, to him. What's halacha? So, let's see. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Tamar Rabbi Mashmuel says Rabbi Mashmuel, Maaseh b'adam echad sheshagah lebet chamim 100 קרונות של כדי יין ושל כדי שמן ושל כלי חצר ושל כלי זהב ושל כלי מילת. Right? So imagine, this person comes, he gets engaged, he's going to send 100, right, agalot, that they had yain and shemen and kesef and kli zahav and kli milat, and right, mamash, everything that you want, right? They had everything, yeah. Now they're coming, and right, he was, he was in a simcha gdola, right? Basically, that he was rochev al asus because of the simcha that he sent. So he went to the father-in-law's house. They take him out a hot cup of tea, coffee, whatever you want. He drank it. Umet. Yeah, imagine what they put in there. Yeah. So right, he died. It's not hana. We just answered before. Then the drinking is not eating. Right. So he says vezo halacha. Right, and this was the halacha that he'ela Rabbi Acha Sara Bira lifnei chachamim leusha ve'amru sivlonot asuyin libalot and nigbin. Yeah, anything which is going to be ruined, meaning that it's going to be worn out. Not ruined, worn out before the wedding, so that you cannot collect it. Right? Why? Because that for sure he was muchel. Right? Because the fact that he drank the cup. So he says v'she'en asuyin libalot. But if it's going to be that it's not going to be asuyin libalot, nigbin. Right? It is going to be It is going to be collected.
Bring it back to him? Or
to his inheritance. To his inheritance. He died, so it's in his inheritance. Yes.
Whenever it's like eatable, it stays with them. And
yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, anything which is going to be worn out, or even sometimes some type of clothing. Because remember, it was a year between. So if it was a certain type of clothing, that remember that in the olden days it was not like nowadays. So if it's a certain type of clothing that you knew that within a year was going to be a thing, so then that's it. So says the Gemara. 1 second. Shema mina. We learn from here. Right? A few halachot. Right? Number 1, afilu shata. Right? It comes out that even if he drank and he didn't eat. Now we learned before that it's mashma, that it has to be davka what? Right? That it's davka eating. Because we already learned in Mishnah ve'achal sham, not ve'shata sham. Right? V'shema mina also, shafilu pachom midinan. That even if it's going to be less than a dinar also. Because mina stam, a cup of tea is not a dinar. Right? Or a cup of coffee is not a dinar. So therefore, it still goes back. So Amar Ravashi comes and he says, Man leimalan de lo shachke le maganita, right? De shavia al fazuze ve'ashke. Whoever told you that he didn't come and take, right, a pearl, right, that was worth 1,000 zuz, and they gave it to him. Which means he says here that this was the derech of the ashirim. The derech of the ashirim was they used to take pearls, crush it, right, and they used to put it in the drink, and they used to drink it for refuah. That's what the Rashbam says. Yeah, that's what he says. So therefore, he says, whoever told you that it's not going to be Shaveh Dinar, it is Shaveh Dinar. So how do you know that it's not Be'emet Shaveh Dinar? Yeah? So fine. So Shema Mina, we learn from here though, right? Afilu Shigrulo, that even if they sent it to him. Because one more time, we had a few different halachot. We asked, first of all, eating and drinking. Then we asked about the dinar and not dinar. Then we asked about the shliach or not shliach. And then we asked if they sent it to him. So here it's drinking, not eating. Number 2, it's not a dinar. So then we said, no, maybe it is a dinar. Maybe it's much more than a dinar, right? And then we said, okay, but they sent it to him. He didn't go to eat there. So Shema Mina, we learn from here. Afilu shigrulo. So says Gemara, no. Dilma maybe kol petach bet chamiv kemet chamiv damit. No, he was at the door. Being at the door, that's not shigrulo. We thought is Uber Eats. I'm going to come. I'm going to send it to you to your house, right? Here, he's already at the house. Hey, he's at the entrance. Fine, he didn't have to go in. Maybe she didn't have makeup on. I don't know what. He said she didn't. But it's not because of that. That's not shigerlo. Shigerlo is mamash that he sent it to the thing. Fine. So because of that, we just don't have, right? We do not have an answer. Here he says that the Safek Adishon was nifshat. Okay, that even if he drank in the house of the Chamiv and didn't eat, it's still going to be collected. But the other 2 Sfekot, which is basically we have a Safek, and the woman has a chazakav the mamon, so therefore we do not come and we do not collect it misafek, because basically whoever is muhzak, huh? It is a safek. No, but we asked, does it have to be davka dinar or not? And we will try to bring a proof, and we disprove that. So because of that, the state is a safek. So since the state is a safek, we do not. So it's not. It's a safek, and since it's a safek, she stays with the money, but she's muhzak. Okay, ibay lehu. So now we're going to ask another question now. Maush yishalesh. What's the case where he ate less than a dinar? That we say that you're going to be mochel or not mochel, right? On the shiur of the achilato, right? So, for example, let's say he ate of the suda of chetzi dinar, or for example, a third or a quarter of a dinar. Do we say then that for sure he was mochel on chetzi or shlish or reva from the sivlonot that he gave, or it had to be dafka dinar? Meaning like this, right? We just had a doubt about the dinar, and we didn't have an answer because we said maybe it would bemet that he gave him a drink, and the drink bemet was worth a dinar, and we just don't know, right? So okay, fine. So if we still have a doubt, we said that as long as he came and he ate a dinar, right, or now comes out drank a dinar, right? What happens is he's mochel on the presence. What happens? Do we go according to shiurim or not? Meaning, let's say we said that he had to have a meal of $1,000. So he goes, he's there on Shabbat, and they put out this and that and everything. Yeah? It's okay. So it's worth $1,000. Mochel. What happens if they only put a meal of $500? And that's, let's say, chetzi dinar. Do I say that since they put him a meal of half the worth, that's 50%, so he's mochel on 50% of the sivlonot, meaning he's mochel on 50% of the presents? Or do I say, let's say it was a shlish 33, so it's 33% of the presents, or 25% of the presents, meaning according to what he ate, do I say that, right, that according to that he was mochel? Or do I say, no, if he was a full dinar, the full $1,000, he's mochel and everything. If it's $50, he wasn't mochel and everything. Why? He didn't have it. So let's see, another safek, right? Shevach sivlonot, mao. What happens if they go up in value? Yeah, they appreciate it in value. So he came and he gave her, I don't know what it was, and all of a sudden it goes up in value, right? Since if he has it, it goes back to him. So so therefore it went up in value in his possession. Or Dimar, maybe given if it was stolen or lost by Shlumele, right? At the end of the day, right? Yeah, she had to pay for it. So therefore it's not really shayach, right? That it's by her. So bishuta dida shavuach. So therefore it's really in her shevach that it went up. This one is a teku. Yeah, teku. Actually, it says it on both of them. Yeah, on both of them. Yeah, fine. By Rava. Yeah, another question. Yeah, sivlonot. Other shiurim, please leave. Yeah, sivlonot asuyin libalot. Yeah, he comes and he says tashmish bizui. Yeah, so he says he was lucky I didn't say kohen amaretz. Right? He says sivlonot asuyin libalot. When we're talking about sivlonot, which are made libalot, velo balu, meaning you gave her a type of a dress. Normally, that dress within the year would have gone out, would have worn out. It didn't go out. So therefore, does it come back or not? Right? That's a question. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring a proof. Right here, and they said, Sivlonot asuyin libalot nigbin, v'she'en asuyin libalot nigbin. When you just told me that everything has to do whether it's going to be libalot or not, that we said if it's going to be libalot, it's not going to be collected, and if it's not going to be libalot, so then it is going to be collected. Are we not about that afagav de lo balu? Right? At the end of the day, still, are we going to say that en nigbin? So you're not going to collect it, right? Even though it didn't, meaning even though you still have it here 100% intact, let's say she never wore it, but it was made to wear out. So it means it was going to wear out. But she doesn't collect it. So says the Gemara, no, the balu. Hey, did it actually wear out? So Tashema, let's try to bring another proof then. Sivlonom muatin, we said a small presence, right? Shemishtamesh bahen v'bevet aviyah, that she's using it and it's going to be in the house of the father. Ending bin, you're not going to be collecting them. So it's mashma from the Mishnah that it's like something which is like muchlat, that if he said that it's supposed to be used in the house of the father, so therefore that's it, right? That means he can't collect it even if it's going to be kayam leolam. They keep their things. Ooh, everything is kept in that house perfectly, so it's going to be there for the next for the grandchildren, and I don't know what. So you're not going to collect it. Why? Because it was meant for the in-laws to use, and it was a small amount. So Tidigim Rava says Rava beyeva usaftecha. He says we're talking about different types of like tzeifim, like scarves and things like that for the women, which basically doesn't have a very big value, right? Nowadays it's opposite. If you want to make a lot of money, put the women's clothing, right? To minastam, right? And therefore he says minastam, the husband is going to be mochel legamre on it, whether bemet they're there or not there, it was worn out, not worn out. That's just the way that it is. Okay, fine. Next, a story. Right? You guys like stories. So we're going to give you a story. Amar Rav Yudah Rav says Rav Yudah the name of Rav. מעשה באדם אחד ששיגר לבית חמיו יין חדש ושמן חדש וכלי פשתן חדש בעצרת. So imagine somebody comes and he sends to his in-laws, right, wine, right, but it's new wine, right, not aged wine, new wine, right, oil, new oil, kli pishtan, right, we're talking about linen. Beforehand, the kli milat was, like begadim of tzemed, like very expensive and very good clothing, right? Chadash ba'atzeret. So he comes and he says, "My kamash malan, what is it coming to teach you?" So Yibayit Eima, right? We thought we could say Chashivuta de Eretz Yisrael kamash malan, but it's coming to teach you the Chashivut of Eretz Yisrael. Right? That's the chashivut. Why? Because in Eretz Yisrael, it comes and it's going to quickly ripen its fruit. Meaning there's a special segula in Eretz Yisrael that in Mamash, it makes it much quicker. Right? In Chutzar, it'll take much longer, but here in Eretz Yisrael, it's going to go much quicker. Or if you want, you could say, the Tain, right, that really be'emet, if right now he would go to come to Bedin and say that he sent to his wife these things, right? So therefore he says, Tana te Tana, it's going to be a good Tana, right? That therefore the Bet Din are going to come, and they're not going to say that for sure he's going to be Mishaker, right? That means basically Davka and Eretz Yisrael that it's going to happen, that's going to happen. But in Bavel, right, obviously it's Tana Cheker, right? Because obviously in Babylonia it's not the same, right? Eretz Yisrael is a special segula, not Bavel. So Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav, another story, review the name of Rav. Maaseh be'adam echad, right? Shamru lo, sheishto totranit. Yeah, basically they went and they told him, you know what? Your wife, she doesn't smell. She doesn't have the sense of smell. So v'nichnas acharei lechurba lebodka. So he went and he wanted to take her in to check it. He wanted to check her out. Is it really be'emet this kacha or not? Right now, why? Because if be'emet, right, she's balmum, right? That's it. You understand? So now he carried a tznon. Tznon is a radish. Ve'amarlan, he told her, "Reach tznon ani meniach bagalil." Right? He wanted to really see be'emet, is there reach tznon? Right? So he said, look, he's got this reach. Amrale, kuf menvav muvet. Amrale, so she told him as a joke, man yahiv lan mikotavot diricho ve'achil nabe. Who's going to give me from the dates of Yericho, which are sweet, right? In order that I'm going to eat them, right? Why? Because kilu, if it's sweet, so then you could eat the spicy, which is going to be the radish, which is charif. So therefore, right? She's not a balat mum. So nafalala, right? Churba umeta. And then what happened is that it fell on her and she died. They went into ruins. They went into ruins, huh? I don't know if it's because she lied. Mina Shemaim, it fell on her and she died. Now the question is, right? But now what's happening? Amru Chachamim, says Chachamim, Chol v'lo nichnas acharei lelabodka, meta en Yerusha. He says since he only went in to check, and he didn't go in there to get married to her. He went in to check her out, to check out what really meant, does she have this blemish or not. So therefore, if she dies, he doesn't inherit her, right?
She's not his wife. She is his wife.
Yes, but he wanted to find out whether Be'emet it was going to be a mistake or not a mistake, whether Balat Mum or not. What? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He did Kiddushin. He didn't do Nisuin. He did Kiddushin. He didn't do Nisuin. Right? Now the question is, does he want to? No, but Kiddushin is but the Erusin is a real marriage. That's what you know. 100%. Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm saying it would be a mistake. If it's a mistake, it's a mistake. Yeah, fine. So now he comes and he says, yeah, sivlonot. Yeah, 2 dots. Sivlonot. Yeah, there's a whole gavra here. Sivlonom muatin shemishtamesh b'hem bevet aviyah. We're talking about now, right? Small sivlonot, which they're going to be using in the Bet Aviyah. Yativ Ravin Saba, Kamed Rav Papa. So we're sitting Ravin Kama, right, as Ravin Saba in front of Rav Papa. Yativ Kama, and he was saying, Ben Shemeta he, Ben Shemet who, whether she dies or he dies, Hadar who, right, or he retracts, right, and he divorces her before the marriage. Sivlonot Hadre. The presents, they go back. Machal Mishte Lo Hadar. But the food and drink does not, right? So he says hadra ba'ihi. But if she retracted, hadra filu kisha diarka. Even the vegetables, even mamash goes back. So Amar Rav Yeshua is shamin lahen, and we're going to come and evaluate, right, for the people of the thing that if they came and they ate something, right, the meva sar bazol, they would have to pay the cheap meat in the market in order to pay back. Ad kama bezol. What does that mean until bezol? So he says tilta, right? Until a third. Meaning that if it's going to be for like 6 mouth, you're going to do it as if it's going to be fourth, right? So therefore, basically, what we're trying to say is that they are going to be obligated to pay because since she's the one that's retracting, so therefore, obviously, right, she's the one that's going to have to actually come, right, and pay it back. Okay? Mishnah, Kuf Mem Vav Mubet, says the Mishnah. Shchiv Mera. Yeah, you know what a Shchiv Mera is, yeah?
Yes.
So Shchiv Mera, Shekatav Kol Nechasav La'achirim. He wrote all his properties to other people. V'shier karka kolshu. And he left a little bit of karka. Matanato kayemet. Right? He can't retract. Right? That means even if he became better, he cannot retract. And the reason why is since he left over a little bit to himself, so therefore the kavanah was to give it mamash like a matana muchletet, even if he would become better, because that's why he left over for himself a little bit. But lo shier karka, but if he didn't leave nothing over whatsoever, meaning that all of a sudden the guy gets up and he's healthy, he's a kilu lo kara klum, everything goes back. Yeah, one second. Says the Gemara. 1 second. All right. He says like this. We're gonna see in the Gemara everything.
Giving everything.
What? 1 second. Oh, obviously, that's a Mishnah. 1 second. Man tana dazlina batar umdina. That's called an umdina. What does it mean an umdina? Umdina means I'm going to evaluate what was his mindset. I'm going to say, listen, the fact that he left something over behind, that proves that what? That even if he got better, it's still going to mean that he's going to have something left over. And therefore, when he gave everything out, he gave everything as a true present. But the fact that he gave everything, it meant that he knew that he was leaving. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu did a mechaya metim, right? He gave him life. So now everything goes back. So it's called umdina. So who is a Tana that goes after umdina? So Rav Nachman says, Nachman, Mishubim Nasiyahi, Mishubim Nasiyah. The Tanya was learned to the right. Shalach beno lemdinat hayam. If a person's son goes to Medinat Hayam, the Shamash Shemet beno, he finds out that he dies. Right? So his son, he goes to Medinat Hayam, and then he finds out that he dies. So what happens? He writes everything to somebody else. And all of a sudden, the son comes back alive. Yeah? Matanato, matana. The matana is a good matana. Why? Because since he didn't say it on a condition. When he gave a present, he gave it 100%. He didn't say, since the son died, so that's why he's giving the present. He didn't say anything. He just comes, here's a matana, take everything to somebody else. But now the son comes back alive. So that says the Bishum Menasya, no, I'm sorry. It's not a matana. Why? Right? What does it mean? It means that if Be'emet, he would have known that the son was alive, he wouldn't have written it to him. So therefore, the one that holds that umdana that we are going to come and evaluate what's the da'at, right? Meaning what's the mindset of the person. That's Rabbi Shimon ben Asiyah. So says the Gemara, Rav Sheshat Amar, Rav Sheshat comes and he says, no, you know who it is? Rav Shimon Shezuri. Rav Shimon Shezuri. The Tanya was learned to the Braita, but Rishonai Yomrim at the beginning they used to say, Hayotze ba'kolar ve'amar kitvu get lishti. Imagine somebody's being taken out to be killed. And he comes and he tells the people, write a get to my wife. Yeah, write a get to my wife. Hare'elu yichtevu, right? Ve'itnu. They're going to write it and they're going to give it. Yeah, they write and they give it. That means, technically speaking, did you realize he only said write the get to his wife? He didn't say to give it. He just said write it. But you write it and you give it. Why? Because the guy's being taken out to kill. When he comes and he says, by the way, write, it meant write and give. Chazru loma, right? Then afterwards they went and they said, Afam faresh ve'yotze b'shayera. The same halacha would be that somebody that's going out to desert. Yeah? So somebody that's going out to a desert, also the same thing. The exact same halacha. Why? Because many times if we go to the desert, there's wild animals. There's wild animals in all senses, right? Human beings as animals and other wild animals, the real wild animals. So there's a lot. So because of all these things, right? So what happens is that it's a problem. Why is it a problem? The guy doesn't know if he's going to come back alive. So what does he do? He tells her. So the same halacha. Shimon Shezuri Omer, Afa Mesukran. The same halacha would apply that somebody that's going to be in a sakana of dying, it's the exact same halacha. So it comes out that according to Shitat Rabbi Shimon Shezuri, he's going to say that we always are going to evaluate the dat of the person and say, listen, you know what? He's in sakana. He's in danger. It could be right away he comes and he says, write a get to the wife. You're going to write it, you're going to give it. Why are you going to give it? Because when he said write it, it means writing and giving. And that's, so it's Rabbi Shimon Shezuri. So says the Gemara, 1 second, Rav Nachman, Remember that who was the first shita? The first shita was Amar Rav Nachman. Who was it? Rabbi Shimon ben Menasya. Why didn't he want to say that it was Rabbi Shimon Shizori? So he says, right? Shane Hatam. It's different over there. De Amar Kitvu. There he said Kitvu to write it. So the fact that he went and he said Kitvu to write it, he was megaleh dat, right? That he wants to divorce her. But if not, why do you have to write a get? Obviously, it's to divorce the wife. So you cannot bring a proof from Shimon Shizuri that you go after Umdina, even in the cases of our Mishnah, because the Shchimera was not megaleh dato that if he gets up, he's not going to happen. Meaning over there, he comes and he tells them, write a get. Now you're taking him out to be killed. What does he need to get for? If he's not going to give it, what's the purpose of writing the get? The Shchimera is a completely different case. Whoever said he's going to become better, we don't know. So if you cannot bring a proof from the case of Kitvu get and the guy's being taken out to be killed, you can't bring a proof to that is the author of our Mishnah to do with the Umdina. So says the Gemara, okay, fine, let's flip it now. Rav Sheshat came in, he said it was Shimon Shizuri. Why doesn't he say it's Shimon Menasya? So Rav Sheshat, he says Umdina demuchach shane. He says there's a difference between an Umdina demuchach and a regular Umdina. Meaning, a regular umdana is, I'm going to come and I'm going to say, you know what probably was he thinking? What we're going to try to go into his mind and we're going to say, what was he thinking? Here, this is called an umdana demuchach. Umdana demuchach is, it's like, it's a no-brainer. It's not that, let's evaluate. You don't have to evaluate. You come and you tell a person, listen, right? He has one son. Who's he going to give to inherit everything? To the son. He heard that the son died. Right? And then he comes and he gives it to somebody else. And all of a sudden the son comes back. Who in their right mind, like the percentage, it's not even umdina. You don't even have to evaluate it. Right? 100% he was giving it to the son. So that's called an umdina demuchach. Umdina demuchach is something else. Mantana. So who's the Tana of the Braita that says umdina demuchach, right? To do with umdina. So he comes and he says, imagine somebody's on a sick bed, and they tell him, "No, whose your property is going to?" But Marlain, so he comes and he tells them, right? Dome, right? Shieshli ben. He says, "I thought that I would have had a boy, right? Akshav she'enli ben, but now that I don't have a boy, it's going to go to a certain person, right? Haya, or another case, Haya chole umutal b'mita. He's sick. But they told him nechasav lemi. Marlain, he says, "Dome she'ishti mubenet." I thought that my wife was pregnant. And then afterwards, what happened was he didn't have a ben. Or bemet, his wife was pregnant. So therefore he says, it's not a good matana. Why? Because the fact that he actually said it, right? That means if he would have known bemet that she was pregnant or that he had a child, right? That he had a son, he would have given it to them. So Leima Rabbi Shimon Menasya v'lo Rabbanan. So that means this Braita obviously is going like Rabbi Shimon Menasya and not like Rabbanan. So says the Gemara, afilu teima Rabbanan. He says even the Rabbanan here agree to the Shimon Menaseh. You know why? Dome shane. Because he said it. Meaning he said, if my wife would have been pregnant, this is what I would have done. But she's not. So the fact that he said those words, now if it comes out to be true, even the rabbis agreed to the Shimon Menaseh that it goes to the son, or it goes to the wife that she's pregnant, which means again, right, to the son. Again, this is all the same concept. Okay.